Today, I want to talk about Laserfiche in the area of process automation and how to take it even further to help you to continue to write your own digital transformation story. First up, let's dive into new improvements of Laserfiche. We have all trusted our files to Laserfiche as we share them within the organization. But how do we extend that protection when we send our files outside of our organization? To finish that story, please welcome Justin Pava to the stage. Justin?
Thanks, Carl, and good afternoon, everyone. So how many of you use Laserfiche for document archival and retention? Probably most of you. But what I want to talk with you about today is using Laserfiche for working with active content. So what do I mean by that? Well, today, using an example of a contract management process, I'm going to show you three things. First, dynamically creating a contract solely based on values inputted through a Laserfiche form. Second, using in-browser collaboration and document co-authoring to work on a document with your coworkers at the same time. And third, I'm going to show you a preview into one of our next big innovations that will allow you to share these documents externally with those outside of your organization in a secure manner. So what we've got here is a new contract request form that an organization has put together. As a member of Widget Tech, I am bringing on Newton Machinery as a vendor that I want my organization to work with. We've set up this contract request form that will allow me to provide all of the information needed to determine what we're doing with this vendor, such as their contact information, the dates of the service, why we're working with them. So all I need to do is go ahead and submit that form. So now I'm here doing the legal review, and I can open this up. It's been sent to me directly. I can look at all the information that was provided, and then I can select, okay, let's use this pre-populated template to dynamically create the contract. So what do I mean by that? Well, workflow takes over and uses a Microsoft Word template here. You'll notice there are tokens here. And it will automatically fill that in with the values that were provided in the forms right from the start. And having done that, it creates the document right in the repository. I can go in, open it up, view it right there in the browser, and see my completed contract. So from a form submission directly to a ready-to-go document with no one having to do anything. Now, we need a supplemental document, though. And so as you may have just noticed, we were able to click New, Word Document, and create it right there in the repository. So instead of having to bring that in from outside, it's now right there for us to work with it. So what does that mean? Well, let's go ahead and open up the document. And the thing about this supplemental document is I need input from multiple people. So generally, what does that mean? I have to wait one by one as people work on it until they're done. Or I have to send emails out, get their information, and come back and put it all together myself. But making use of Laserfiche co-authoring with the built-in integration with Microsoft Office Online as you can see here, while I'm signed in as Riley, Brittany is also working within the document. And I can see her changes, she can see my changes, and both of them are being worked on together at the same time. And Brittany does a lot of her work on the go. So she can do this exact same thing through the Laserfiche mobile app as well. She goes in, she works with the opens the document, works with it, makes her modifications, all through the Laserfiche mobile app without even the needing to be at her laptop. So that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. So we just saw a way from people within your organization to actively collaborate on the documents right there through the Laserfiche web client. Without having to leave it, go work somewhere else, they can keep everything right there and still work together. But that's only 2 of the 3 steps that we need to do here. Now that we have the contracts, we need to get it to the vendor. So how do we do that? We could email it, but then it's out of our hands. We have no tracking of it. We have, it's disassociated from our auditing now. One possibility is I could take the file, put it on a thumb drive, and drive out there. I'll be sure I'll know for sure they have it at that point. But that's a little far. So everything I've shown you so far up to this point, dynamically creating documents from field input values, or in-browser document collaboration, that's all already present in Laserfiche 10.4, which incidentally just was released this week at Empower. But now, I want to show you the next thing we're working on. And this is the ability to share documents with those outside of your organization in a secure and audited manner. So this is the Laserfiche web client. I expect most of you are familiar with it. You'll see we've got the 2 documents that we were working on selected here. The original contract and our supplemental. So how do we get them to someone outside of the system? We simply click the share button. And that brings up a dialog where we can say, okay, I want to securely share these documents. We can provide an email. Remember, they're not necessarily known to our system. They don't have a Laserfiche user account, but they have an email address. And we can put 1 or 2 or 3 or however many email addresses in there, put a message in, and if we wanted to, also a password, and then send it out. As soon as we do this, the person we're trying to send it to receives this email. And this email tells them their documents are ready. But it doesn't contain the documents. It gives them a link for where to get the documents. And you'll notice, if you squint a little bit, that this link also notes that it expires in 24 hours. Now that's configurable, of course, but the important point is, after some point, the link's gone. So, our contact here, Andrew, he clicks the link, and it brings him to a dialog where he provides that password. And having done so, he sees this. Just very simple. Here's your documents. You can download them from here. Just like that, we've gotten our documents to that external vendor without ever leaving the system. So that's really cool. But that's not the coolest part. What I think is the most important aspect of it is how it is tracked. Because the thing is, If we had sent that on an email, all we would know is that an email got sent. But doing it this way, we can see who sent it out, who they sent it to, and then that the person themselves actually accessed it and got it. As soon as they download it, the original sender now gets this email saying that everything has been, that everything's been downloaded. And they get a link here that takes them to the web client management page. So what you're looking at here is a list of all of the documents that currently have active shares from the Laserfiche system. So what that means is from, say, an IT policy standpoint, you have centralized controls of how people can access documents. You've got a list right here of everything that is currently being shared with external users. And you can look at them and say, this is when it was shared. This is when it expires. And have they opened it up yet or not? And you can also manually revoke the link. Maybe it was a mistake to send this particular document out at this time. So you can go in and basically say, nope, we're not ready yet. We'll turn that link off for now, and when it's ready, we'll go ahead and share it again, which obviously not something you can do with email. So to my mind, this is the critical part of secure file sharing, that you've still got everything managed within your Laserfiche system. And when you look at the audit log for this document, these sharing actions are here as part of it. It's not separated. It's part of the whole history of what has happened to that document. And then, when the expiration is up, the link isn't available anymore. You don't have to worry anymore about having put something up, say, on an FTP site for someone to access, and then forgetting to take it down. And I'm not saying that just because maybe I've done that once or twice. So we want to make secure file sharing as straightforward and easy as possible. And in order to do that, we are hosting the file sharing server itself on cloud. And what this means is that you can get up and running with interfacing with people outside of your organization without having to deal with installation or maintenance or most importantly, network and firewall configurations. Those of you in the IT world here know that anytime you have to transfer files outside of your organization and deal with network scenarios, that can be a giant mess. So by making this cloud hosted, you don't have to worry about any of that. But one thing that I want to stress is because this is launched directly from the web client or the Laserfiche mobile app, it's not tied to Laserfiche Cloud. The file share host is on cloud, but both on-premises repositories and Laserfiche Cloud repositories will be able to share through this server. So what I've described to you here is basically our first iteration, and we're hoping to have this available to you later this year. Now, this is just the first step, and we have a lot of future plans. So the first item down the road for the second iteration that we're working on is an authenticated portal. And what I mean by that is when documents get shared to someone, they actually sign in and have an account. And if they don't have an account, they can create an account right here. Having signed in, they see all of the documents that have been shared to them. Right there in a personal folder just for them. This looks like the web client, but it's not. It would be the portal for external users. And again, everything is controlled within your system. Access is tracked. IT can have centralized policy control as needed. And if a document needs to be removed, it can simply be pulled down from this as well. So honestly, we have a lot of exciting directions where we're looking to take this. And what I'm showing you here is basically just the tip of the iceberg. I'm out of time here for now, but if you stick around right here in the ballroom after the general session, I'll be showing you more incoming attractions. So just to sum up what I've shown you today, some examples of using Laserfiche to work with active documents. We've dynamically created content from a Laserfiche form. We've used in-browser co-authoring to collaborate with those in our organization. And of course, we're introducing secure file sharing to then take things out of your organization. So I'm really excited about this. I hope you're really excited about this. And now to tell you about a whole bunch of other things you should be excited about, I'm going to turn it back to Carl.
Thanks, Pava. Wasn't that great? Okay, switching gears. Last year, we introduced robotic process automation here at Empower. For those new to RPA, here's a quick intro. This is a low-coding approach for allowing for rapid application development, shrinking turnaround time from years and months down to weeks and days. And particularly in the area of last-mile integration, this really shines, where we try to connect applications from multiple vendors. This, when done manually, is called swivel chair integration. You're sitting in your swivel chair, squeak, 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 you know. Swivel to the right, log into one application, do some searches, swivel to the left, log into another application, and enter your information. Very manual work. This type of integration can easily be bridged by RPA. An RPA bot really just mimics human interaction through the user interface, using just record, playback. And these bots can be very powerful when hooked up with a full-featured process automation platform. Now, before we get upset that these bots are going to take over our jobs, and eventually the world, I want to assure everyone that this is not the case. These bots are effective in handling manual and repetitive tasks with the goal of increasing turnaround and reducing errors. Who wouldn't want more repetitive tasks just struck off their list? To tell us more about RPA, I would like to bring our local RPA bot expert, Cosette, to the stage. Cosette?
Thanks, Carl. As Carl described, we see the importance of robotic process automation, or RPA, in the future of work and helping organizations build more complete end-to-end solutions. I'm excited to share more about our progress. Last year on Empower, we announced that we will offer RPA as a part of Laserfiche. At that time, our users could use Laserfiche Connector for their front end, aka swivel chair, integrations. Expanding from connector features, we now have a more powerful tool that can better streamline your processes. RPA features in Laserfiche is your lightweight tool to create bots to both improve productivity and complete the last-mile integration challenges that Carl mentioned previously. RPA records user actions directly across the screens of the applications, turning user activities into automation bots. These bots can then plug into automation gaps to complete an automated process or work alongside employees as virtual assistants. It may often be thought that bots are primarily used to reduce costs. We at Laserfiche think differently. By automating manual, repetitive data entry tasks, RPA features can bring a number of benefits beyond reducing cost. So let's take a look. People often say that it is impossible to create more time. RPA actually does that for you. Think about all the mundane tasks you may be performing every day. RPA can bring multiple applications together where you won't need chairs to swivel anymore. Squeak, squeak. Every organization has a number of line of business applications that employees work through every day. Think of the time gained, not spent doing tedious tasks like error-prone data entry. More time to focus on the challenging, engaging, and most importantly, valuable work that only you can do. Bots can offload the tasks that don't require decision-making and follow a consistent set of rules and work alongside employees. This then frees up employees to focus more on the work that matters. Let the bots handle the busy work. So this is how a generic automated process would run. The request is submitted, it's approved, and the appropriate rights are granted for the employee, and then the relevant parties are emailed when the task is completed. For company-wide systems, chances are you may already have something in place where it's easy to manage user accounts for each application. However, not all applications may tie into Windows Active Directory or have other easy ways to provision and manage user accounts. Without an easy integration path, the application owner still needs to go in to manage accounts for users in certain systems. Maybe these are legacy systems, or homegrown applications, or even just individual applications that may be managed more on a team level rather than by your IT department. And as employees join or leave your team, or even as the responsibilities shift around, it's very distracting to spend time manually managing all of these user privileges. And additionally, IT or technical teams couldn't possibly build out all of the integrations and manage all of the rights for the needs of an organization. This is an example where RPA can help. So now with RPA, this is what our process would look like. By applying a bot, we can improve the efficiency of this process, helping fill in an automation gap where the administrator previously had to perform manual work. So let's see more of this process in action. Let's say an employee is looking to support another engineering team's project and therefore needs access to their board. So we're going to need to submit a request. So to start this process, Alan is going to submit a software access request. He'll submit it, and once it's approved by the appropriate administrator, the bot can go ahead and take over and automatically perform the steps necessary to grant him access to the project management system. And as we'll see, the bot will mimic the user actions working directly across the screens of the applications themselves. This non-intrusive approach means the underlying systems are remaining untouched. It is simply working across the screen as a user would. This means IT or your technical teams won't need to spend time coding out custom solutions. Bots also promote compliance by ensuring the correct security rights are added or removed at the appropriate times. And this is just one scenario where we're saving time, and it's really going to add up so the employees can focus on the higher priority work. Even here at Laserfiche, we are finding ways of improving our processes by using RPA features to fill in automation gaps. One of our customer success managers at Laserfiche found herself spending several hours per week manually migrating customer information between two non-integrated systems. Let's take a look at how she solved this problem with RPA. Rather than being reliant on IT or other technical experts to spend their time creating this integration, she was able to record a bot herself as she performed her process of copying information from one system into another. And now, with RPA, she only has to check on the general health of the bots and handle exceptions. This cut the time spent on her process from hours down to minutes per week, giving her more time to focus on you, our customers. We're excited to see how these new features can bring additional value to your organization in increasing productivity, promoting accuracy, compliance, and overall enabling your employees to have more time for the work that matters. Longer term, expect to see our initial features expand with machine learning technologies, allowing organizations to decrease the time spent on exception handling and basic decision making. Now, before I hand off to Carl, we have an announcement for you that all of you can take advantage of, and several of you already have. If you just can't wait to see how you'll use these RPA features for yourself, we're launching an RPA preview, which will allow you to trial a subset of our upcoming RPA features. And the first 600 who sign up get these lovely socks. They're almost out, though, so you want to hurry on that if you want them. And so as our Empower attendees, you guys are getting the exclusive early access first. So if you are interested in participating and you haven't signed up yet, we emailed out this announcement earlier in this week. If you're a little busy this week, we also have tablets at the RPA booth in the Info Center. Or we're also going to push out an announcement to the Empower app following Keynote. So you can go ahead and sign up to register for this preview. This is only available for a limited time, so to be sure to check this out, because this is your opportunity to learn how these features can impact your organization and for you to help shape the direction of these features. Of course, come check us out if you want to learn some more information about RPA Preview or RPA in general. We'll be happy to discuss more with you at the Info Center. Later this year, look forward to seeing an initial release of our RPA features available in the cloud with accessibility for on-premises customers soon after. And now, back to Carl.
Wasn't that amazing? Two great features. I really love RPA. I've used it, and I think it's amazing. Now let's go for one more. So next I want to talk about process analytics. Process analytics is at the heart of every digital transformation story. Analytics is digital transparency. Imagine yourself as a plant manager running a designer bag factory. We make handbags, laptop bags, tote bags. I think I have one of those bags here. Ready? Yeah. Tim, you only have one job to do. What? Give me your bag. Oh, this one's certified pre-owned. Okay, look at this bag. Made out of socially conscious black vegan leather. Attractive orange stitching. Really fashionable. I should put it on. Well, I see a lot of people here have it. This must be a really successful bag. So you're in the plant. You have raw materials coming in one side. Your bag's coming out the other. You're walking the floors, inspecting your factory. You have your cutting area, your stitching area, your assembly, your quality control. Everything's all lined up. You can climb up to the mezzanine and oversee your entire factory floor. You get to see the big picture. You have a bird's eye view of your entire operation. If the machines are slow, the inventory piles up. If a machine is out of work, your assembly line is empty. If a machine breaks down, people are scrambling around all over the floors. It's easy to pick out the bottlenecks. You see everything. In the old days, when we used to push paper around, when work comes in, paper piles up. If you finish work, your inbox is empty. If you're sick, work stops. It's also very easy to pick out the bottlenecks. So let's digitally transform this business. All the paper disappears, and also the visibility disappears. Let's see how we can improve our digital transparency. On my phone, I have a map app. It's probably one of my favorite applications, next to the Laserfiche app. It tells me the best route to take, and if there's traffic, when there is traffic, I'm in LA, it says that I'm going to have a long drive, and it says it's red all the way. My favorite feature is it predicts when I'm going to arrive, and also estimates how late I would be. Not that I'm late. With this application, I can see the bird's eye view of my entire route. Everyone should have this traffic app for their organization. It'll tell you where work is routed. It'll tell you when work piles up. And it will also predict when work may be late. This is important for both making bags and making decisions. To show us more about process analytics in action, I'd like to bring Yin up to the stage. Yin?
Thank you, Carl. All right, so Carl talked a lot about birds, plants, and even chairs squeaking. And I'm sure you're wondering at this point, what does that all mean for Laserfiche, and what does that all mean for you? As he mentioned, this is about digital transparency. As your documents and processes become digital, it is really easy to start losing sight of the performance and how things are actually going in your processes. Digital transparency in Laserfiche is about having, one, the business intelligence to ensure your organization is on track to meet goals. Two, having actionable data where you can make informed decisions. And three, last but not least, having the insights to make sure automated processes are actually doing what they're supposed to do. We currently offer a number of reporting and analytics features for your organization to help provide this digital transparency. From out-of-the-box operational dashboards to custom reporting, these views can provide critical information on how things are going in your processes. But working closely with our customers and partners, we know we can do even better to help you extract insights and understand the health of your processes further. Let's take a look at a process that I'm sure we're all very familiar with, the interview and hiring process. This process includes a lot of data spread across a lot of different stages. It includes the initial screening of the candidates, to assessments, and then interviews, and finally, actually hiring that candidate. Fortunately, we have automated this recruiting process, and as a result, significantly reducing the amount of time it takes for us to hire new candidates. However, throughout the last 3 months, I'm starting to notice that our cycle time is getting longer and longer, and it's almost as if I haven't automated a single thing. Imagine for a second that I'm a recruiting director. I have to be involved in a lot of different recruiting processes. I have to work closely with my group of hiring managers from different departments, and then I also have to work with my group of recruiters. There's just a lot of information that I have to go through and a lot of data that I have to shuffle around. And you know what I don't really like doing? I don't like having to jump between the different applications and remember where my reports are set up. What I really want is a quick and easy way for me to find all the information I need in one place. And to do that, I want to introduce to you our new Laserfiche home screen. This new interface you see here is going to be your initial launching point into Laserfiche, putting everything the user needs front and center, giving you that centralized experience. This is the new home screen for Laserfiche, where you'll have a streamlined dashboard type of view, providing ease of access to your relevant documents, tasks, forms, and most importantly, your reports. We don't need to switch between different applications. Everything that we need is right here. Longer term, we also want to make this configurable to suit the personal preferences and the needs of different roles. This is packed with a lot of exciting new features that I kind of wish we had more time to go into, and hopefully some of you were able to visit our Run Smarter Theater session yesterday, but don't worry, they are recorded, so you can go back and take a look as well. But right now, I want to focus on this particular widget right here on the top right, showing a key performance indicator. This widget shows us the current cycle time of our hiring process. Typically, it's supposed to take about 20 to 30 days, but right now, at a quick glance, I know that it's taking me 57 days, and that is way longer than what I'm expecting. This looks off, so I'm gonna switch to our reports section and look a little bit deeper. Jumping to a reports page of our home screen, what you see here is a high-level unified dashboard view similar to what you saw earlier, except here you see all content specific to reporting. We have a number of reports providing metrics and stats for this particular hiring process. But the one that I care most about right now is the graph in the middle. Let's focus right here on our performance graph. This graph right here is a representation of my median hiring cycle time across a 3-month span. We can see here that it's been increasing steadily in the last 3 months, finally reaching the peak of 57 days that we see today. Let's look a little more and focus on this graph. This graph here shows us a summarized, out-of-the-box view of the total time it takes for our hiring process to complete. Each one of these gray dots on this graph is a single instance of that process mapped against the total cycle time. For those of you familiar with workflow and forms, you may already know what an instance is. An instance is essentially a single iteration of that process. So in the case of our hiring process, it's going to be a single candidate going through the hiring process. The line across the middle is our median cycle time, which helps serve as a baseline. We can confirm just by looking at this graph, there's an increasing trend in our cycle time, but I want to know exactly what is causing this bottleneck. So let's switch over to this other graph to get a little more information. This right here is our cumulative flow diagram. This shows us our work in progress. Shown here are the active instances in each stage of our hiring process across the same 3-month span. Each stage is color-coded here in a different color. The top stage in light green is our applicant review stage. Right underneath it is the light teal stage for the applicant review test, and so on. From a glance, we can see the problem appears to be the application review stage because we have a lot of instances here compared to our other stages, and those instances are growing and growing over time. This means that each candidate in the hiring process is staying in this particular stage longer and longer. So let's take a look a little bit further. Focusing on just the application review stage, removing the other 3 stages from this graph, we can see the number of candidates in this particular stage has actually quadrupled over time. So it started off at 10, and now it's over 40. After analyzing this, we can now confirm that the application review stage is where the bottleneck is, getting us closer to actually identifying the root cause. Now that we know the slowdown is in this particular stage, I want to know the exact steps and tasks that are within this stage to pinpoint the exact cause of the slowdown. Let's dive a little deeper and take a look at our process diagram itself. What you see here is our process modeler, mapping out our entire hiring process with the different stages and steps involved in each of these stages. What we've done here is we've applied a heat map on top of our process modeler so that you can see which process step stands out. This allows us to color code each one of the steps based on how many task items are queued up on that particular step. At a quick glance, we can confirm the initial disqualify review task is boxed in red standing out. Once we have the exact step identified, we can take a look at the additional details. Looking at our process detail, we can see the initial disqualified review step actually has 45 active instances, compared to other user tasks that have fewer than 10. Now that we know the exact task of where the slowdown is occurring, it's time to take what we've discovered and check in with our team to see, why is this task why is there so many things happening in this task and not moving forward? What we know is that this task is handled by our hiring managers that actually work out of the recruiting team. They work with individual departments to screen the candidates as our initial step. They have been overloaded, there have been too many candidates coming in, and they just haven't been able to stay in sync with recruiting. Going through these reports, we were able to proactively and quickly identify the exact bottleneck in our hiring process. And what this showed us is that process health could be continuously improved, and achieving high process health is dynamic. As a recap, we walked you through how our expanded analytics tools can help bring further transparency into your process and help you diagnose potential inefficiencies. We started off with the big picture from our centralized Laserfiche home screen, and then we moved on into the individual graphs to really dig deeper and figure out what is causing our exact slowdown. Automation is a key step to drive transformation. But what I want to focus on is that it's never just automate and forget. It's automate and streamline. Automation strategies work hand in hand with reporting and analytics tools to help ensure continued success. This visibility into your process lets you stay on track to meet goals, make informed decisions, and last but not least, and most importantly, ensure that your automated process continue to meet the needs they were originally designed for. And with that, I will hand it back to Carl.
Thanks, Yin. Let me do a little housekeeping here first. I gotta clean up Tim's mess here. Okay. We started today's keynote with our Rent Smarter winners and their digital transformation stories. And we also introduced a lot of new tools to help you in your own digital transformation. We talked about secure file sharing, RPA, robots that can handle repetitive work to create time without adding more resources, and analytics, your traffic map to digital transparency. I want to recap the release schedule that was covered throughout the talk, in case you guys missed it. 10.4 was released this week. RPA preview is available now. And later on this year, we'll be releasing the analytics dashboard, secure file sharing, and many of our other cloud features will be available for the on-premise. At Laserfiche, we want to create software that people love to use. We love what we've done so far, and we hope that you do too. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon, and enjoy the rest of Empower. Thank you all.